friends, this is Vicki with Grandma Vicki Crafts. Today I'm going to make a tree of life, and I'm using this green mossy wreath form that I purchased at our Dollar Tree. And it came in a plastic bag, and when I took it out of the bag it was really quite messy, and so I took it outside and I put some adhesive spray, some multi-purpose adhesive spray that I also purchased at the Dollar Tree in the hopes that maybe that would help just to contain the messiness of this. So what I'm going to do is I have some white nautical rope, and I'm going to use that part in the center part on each side to give it like an open sky effect. Then in the middle, I'm going to use the jute rope, and that's going to be used for the tree. And I'll have the trunk of the tree in here with the roots coming down and the branches all along the top. Then I'm going to put down on the roots a few rocks that I have, and I also have purchased a little bag of twig bundles, and I took one of these little bundles apart, and so I thought I'd scatter some of the little loose twigs on the bottom as well. So then for the top of the tree, I got some, just some little bundles of leaves, and I thought that I would put that on the top, all around on the top. Then when we're done, I also have a little tire that I took off of a toy, and I'm going to hang that from my tree. So let's get started. So I now have the white rope attached to where I wanted it on either side. So then I'm going to use the thicker rope. I had thought that I was going to use this jute rope, but I think it's a little bit thin, so I thought that I would use the thicker rope to make my tree. So what I've done is I've taken a length, I should measure that, I guess. Well, my first length is about 24 inches long, and then I've glued another strip to make the trunk thicker. So what I'm going to do is put that on the inside. This is going to go on the outside, and this is going to come down the middle like so. These roots will end up coming all up here when I get them all spread out. And then I'm going to take another piece from this bottom portion that I've saved, and I'm going to bring it back up, and I'm going to twist it around the bottom part of this tree to make a thicker trunk on our tree. So that will look something like this. With a thicker trunk around this tree. Once I get this glued, it'll hold better. And then the roots will come up this way, and then I'll separate the top part of this as well, and we'll make the branches of the tree coming down on the top. So it's all going to look better once I get it put together, and I hope that this is making some sort of sense. I think it will in the end. What I did was I took one piece that was 24 inches long, and I put it through the middle and down through the back. Then I untwisted all the little strands, and that's going to be the roots for my tree. Then I hot glued another strip that was, I would say, about 30 inches long. I hot glued that together to make a wider trunk base here for my tree. Then I brought that extra piece up and around through the back, and I just twisted that around, and I glued that together there. So that's kind of the trunk of my tree. Then I spread out the branches on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this rope on this side. Then I'm going to take a piece of my rope, and I'm going to put my little tire on, hanging down here. I'm going to add my rocks. Here's my tire. I'm going to add my rocks that I have. I'm going to place them all in and around there. And then we'll see what it's looking like when I come back with after that. So here we are so far. I have got my branches glued down. I've got my rocks and my roots glued down. And I've braided a couple of, well, 3 little strands actually of the jute rope so that it would be straight, hang straight, and I've got my little tire put on there. So now I just have to go about putting a few leaves on my tree, and then I think we're pretty close to being finished. So we'll carry on. So here we are, back with my tree of life. So I've got the leaves on now, and what I had used was a fern bush that I got from my local Dollarama store here in Canada. And I just used 2 branches of the leaves. I put one in one direction and one in another direction, and then I cut off separate leaves and I glued them all in and around. So then I thought that I'd like to have a little person in my tree of life. So the Dollar Tree has little princess sets in the toy section. So what I did was, because I didn't want a dress, I wanted her to have a blouse. So I took my pinking shears and I clipped off of her dress to make that look more like a blouse. And then the black part is just a black permanent marker that I made her a pair of shorts with. Also at the Dollar Tree, they have little, in the toy section, they have little dogs and cats. So I thought she needed to have a little dog along with her. So there we have it. And then the hook on the back, the hook on the back, I just used some jute and I made a little knot in the bottom, and I stuck in a greening pin and I hot glued that into the back so it can hang up on your wall or on your door. So there we have it, the Tree of Life. So if you've liked this, I think it turned out pretty cute. Please like, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and always remember to be kind. And thanks for watching. Bye now.